12 $1 million missiles launched to kill $5,000 crawler bots. Who won? In the Arctic, 2 Yasen-class subs fired a full caliber salvo into a Ukrainian drone convoy, and walked into a data trap. We break down the proof of concept that turned near-surface waters into a kill zone, mines on submerged pylons, USV kamikaze runs, and EW that made screens go dark. Stay for how sensor denial, not armor, decided the fight, and what that means for any Navy still betting on hardened kinetic defense. 2 stealth subs fire a full missile spread into near-surface waters, yet the cheapest robots on the field set the terms. The launch shock rolls out. Kalibrs arc low. And the water is already wired. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great! Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. The tactical picture looks clean on paper. 2 Yasen-class boats sit outside coastal batteries. Their job, swat a mixed convoy before it can seed the approaches. The convoy isn't a fleet. It's a string of unmanned surface vessels and small crawler bots hugging the floor, each carrying mines, passive mics, and simple logic. Russia plays to strength. Armor. Speed. Heat. You pay for a hard punch and a thick skin, then you force contact on your terms. But this field refuses the duel. It stretches. It multiplies. It dies cheap and keeps sensing as it dies. Crawler bots do the slow work the glamorous systems skip. They ride in under chop, cling to pylons, bridge legs, reef edges. They plant shaped mines at knee depth for a hull, then deeper charges on brackets where wakes funnel. They don't chase kills. They shape where things can move, and when that movement must happen. That is the first break in the old model. Movement is a choice until the ground tells you no. A $5,000 crawler takes a lane off the board and does it without a plume or a ping. The sub doesn't duel it. The sub respects it, shifts bearing, rises or sinks a band, and shows intent. Meanwhile, the air goes dirty. Electronic warfare units throw off decoys and spoofed echoes. They toss up shallow angle noise that looks like prop blades. They spam old radar modes with clean returns that don't match sea state. Screens lag. A plot freezes at the worst moment, then jumps 10 degrees. You can't tell a wake line from interference without time to clean the feed. The trap is layered and dull by design. USVs run loud and sloppy to get tagged first. They dart across fixed sensors to stir up trails. Crawler teams pre-place obstacles, tethered floats that kick a small thump on impact, magnet clingers that stick to steel and wait for a timer, and pressure mines that only arm when the water column shifts in a narrow band. Each piece tells a story when touched. Each touch is a time stamp. On the back end, the map gets smarter. Not a magic eye, just a ledger built fast. Sonar flickers from coastal strings. RF burps mark who's talking and where the talk hits a relay. Wake patterns log as texture, not pictures. Impact telemetry from dummy floats lands as pings on a clock. Merge enough weak hints, and you don't get a dot, you get a cone and a depth slice, and that is enough to cue the next layer. Then the clash. Kalibrs come in on the ghost shapes the net demands. Several meet interceptors that are already pointed at the right quadrant because the decoys told them where the gaps would open. Others blow through water where the targets were 30 seconds ago. The true effect is not the hits. It's the geometry revealed by launch. A bearing line. A cadence. A depth band that repeats. The cheap bots don't outgun anything. They outthink with angles. They force the shooter to move in public. They make posture into a signature and turn that signature into firing cues for guns and mines that cost a fraction of a missile. If the salvo didn't win the fight, what did? Look at the map. The water isn't water anymore, it's a sensor field with teeth. The answer lives there, in the fused net that made a sea lane act like a kill zone and told every shooter where to wait. The radar goes dark, but the picture gets clearer. A stealth sub slips the edge of sonar. How do you target what you can't see? You start by fighting the brain, not the hull. Russia leans on armor and distance, on platforms that survive and strike from far. Ukraine goes after the nervous system, the sensors that feed it, the links that bind it, the decision loops that turn data into orders. Break the loop, and the steel becomes heavy and slow. Stealth lives on quiet and confusion. So you flood the scene with inputs the sub can't mute. Hydrophones catch low hums that bend around ice. Wake detectors read faint stripes where water cuts wrong for the sea state. RF ESM notes short, clipped bursts when a node checks in. Even debris that ticks a buoy on impact gives a time mark. Weak alone. Sharp together. Think of data fusion like a sketch artist building a face from scraps. One eye from a blurry shot. A jawline from a shadow. A scar from memory. Each piece is poor proof. But align them, weight them, and you get a match strong enough to act on. Not a pin on a map. A corridor and a depth band where a shooter should wait. Now the chain runs. Crawlerbot mines don't just scare hulls, they stamp time into the ledger. A small charge pops at a set depth. That pop rides a hydrophone net and lands as a clean tick. USVs, running cross-current, log wake drag and turbulent spikes. When those spikes repeat in a lane, it hints at a mass moving through. EW aircraft orbit wide, map where radar goes blind when jammed low and clean, then note which sectors recover fastest. UAVs hang back and stare for heat blooms from counter-fire, faint smears that betray batteries waking up. Each pass tightens the guess. At the start, you get rough windows, 2 minutes between the mine tick and the wake smear. Then the gap shrinks. Fused returns say the likely bearing will swing through a 10-degree arc, and the depth will sit inside a narrow band, cold water above, warmer water below. That is enough. You cue a mine to arm only when pressure shifts through that band. You slew a launcher to wait on that arc and hold fire until a second hint hits. Meanwhile, the EW twist. Ghost signals feed Russian air defense nets. They look like threats and arrive in patterns that force the systems to grind. The nets burn cycles sorting the fake from the real. Corridors open. Not because the defenses fail outright, but because they are busy. Busy equals slow. Slow equals late to the shot. The target now is the fortress brain and the sensor net that gives it reach. You cut command links with jamming that saturates the uplink, you strike a relay node when a heat bloom gives it away, and you deny clean radar pictures with decoys that fit the sea state better than the real thing. The platform still floats. But its hands can't find the levers. That is the mini payoff. Once the command link goes deaf and the perimeter is mined by robots you can't kill without losing time and money, a billion-plus spy ship becomes blind metal at sea. It can move. It cannot outthink a field that makes it show intent every time it breathes. So who won? The unit that carried more warhead weight, or the side that killed the eyes and slowed the brain? If you want to understand the tactical mindset that wins these battles, subscribe now. Next, we talk about what this shift means for every Navy still betting on armor, and why your budget choices decide whether you hunt or get herded. The cheap platform wins when it kills vision and time. Sensor denial beats armor when the fight is a race to a clean picture. You don't need a perfect track. You need the enemy to move loud and late. This is the story of budgets as weapons. Control the spectrum, field autonomous swarms, and you turn oceans into maps with teeth. Russia's faith in hardened kinetic defense met a layered, multi-domain attack and found the cost curve tilted. If you value analysis over noise, subscribe. Would you fund more armor, or more swarms and EW? Comment your choice below. The next great naval battle will be inferred from data.